में वो मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर है, उसकी एक पोजीशन है, एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. Forget about the person who's in these positions. Forget about those persons. But हर एक की different positions, different responsibilities. किसकी पोजीशन, किसकी responsibility ज्यादा है? Manager, obviously, right? So similarly, अब यहाँ पे जो बात आई है कि you are the best nation. Allah is saying, you are the best person. You are the best nation. That means you're being given the उसके साथ एक responsibility आ रही है. The responsibility is what? That you do good and you prevent from the bad. This is the responsibility that you are going to do. अब यहाँ पे टेक्नोलॉजी की जो बात हो रही थी, and टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर से how do I implement this आया in the technology? How do I अभी जब जैसे मैंने बताया, he talked about the good and the bad. Technology से could be, you can do, it's like पहले तो मिसाल दिया करते थे knife, जैसे knife छुरी है, छुरी की मिसाल दिया करते थे, आप तो समझ जाते थे लोग. तो छुरी जो है किसके लिए इस्तेमाल करते हैं? अच्छे के लिए भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, बुरे के लिए भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. सेम थिंग टेक्नोलॉजी, छुरी के वजह it's a different tool. It's a different tool. How you use the tool is what will derive, what is the result out of it. Itself, technology itself, अच्छा भी नहीं बोल सकते, बुरा भी नहीं बोल सकते. इसमें अच्छाइयाँ भी छुपी हैं और बुराइयाँ भी छुपी हैं. How you use it is a thing. And based on how you use is what tell you or determine what your nearest to us. So inshallah, with that, how many, we have a small agenda here, like, we'll try to see how best we can go into this. How many we are here? Not sure. This is quite expected. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. होना चाहिए. I should have asked, who does not know yet? Probably, कोई भी जो है वो भाग शायद. I don't this thing that I don't think anybody will place that. Okay, so I just happen to address the set of students, engineering students, in Solo. In that gathering, I asked this, everybody enjoys it. Right? Who does not enjoy the benefits of AI? Everybody benefits. Everybody is benefiting from it. Yes. Especially the students. You tell me, how much are you worried and concerned about AI? Are you worried? You're not worried at all? Because डर नहीं है problem होगा. Taking away the jobs. मेरा आगे के जॉब का क्या होगा? या कोई फिक्र है क्या? नहीं है. To replace human beings. So this is what, when I talked to the students, they were all happy until the time I asked this question. Then everybody said yes. So the thing is, we have to evolve. We have to evolve. जब तक हम evolve नहीं होंगे, we are not going to sustain. Sustainability के लिए evolve होना जरूरी है. We have to evolve. Give an example, right? I don't know. Sharing many Daladian. I'm not the so the Gen Z's. तो आप मिलेनियल्स को तो मालूम है कि नोकिया का जो फोन हुआ करता था, मोटा भी बारीक भी, कितने लोगों ने सुना? Some of them. Oh, wow, I did not expect this. So you were like, नोकिया का होता था, बोलते थे भाई वो मोटा भी वाला दे दो, चार्ज दे दो, बारीक भी वाला दे दो. नोकिया का आज कितने लोगों के पास नोकिया का फोन है यहाँ पे? Anybody? कंपनी नहीं है. कंपनी नहीं. नोकिया का फोन है किसी के पास? है आपके पास है? ओ माशाल्लाह. तो क्या हुआ? What happened?
Okay.
Why did they get oriented? They were best in the technology. Everybody, like the percentage, market share was huge.
It did not evolve. They did not adapt the technology.
They did not foresee and they did not evolve with what's required. So क्या हो गया? So then slowly the market share value जो है वो गिरते ये आती है.
I know.
यहाँ पे इस मसले में और इस मसले में जो है there is one person who has क्या बोल. Okay. So I can give you a lot of examples like this. I can give you a lot of examples. Sony camera. Does anybody buy a Sony camera? And all this, that's a different category. But regular, पहले जो है visitors हम जब देखते थे तो bring a camera, you can also camera लेके click कर रहे. Especially if you go to all these touristy spots, New York में, Manhattan में, all these different places out there where everybody is. I mean, it's all like everybody uses the phone. So many such things can be given about how the technology evolvement is there, and those who do not catch up with that, what is. So this is going to happen. This is going to happen. If you're not catching up, then you'll be left behind. So you have to catch. You have to catch. देखिए आज सुने में हमारे Ahmed साहब से बात कर रहा था ऐसे we were talking about it, some instances, and the one thing that जब आप के दौर में who was the superpower? Who was the superpower during the time of the Prophet? Roman Persians, right? So उस दौर में क्या हुआ? Then prophesied. उन्होंने क्या बोला? Rule. You will be ruled by Persian and Roman emperors को आप rule करोगे. And so when this was told, so उसके बारे में was there no planning involved? Was there क्या वो साहबा इकराम जो है ये तो साहबा के जो दीन को समझते थे, दीन को अपने आप डायरेक्ट सीखा था ना, डायरेक्ट सीखा था. So this is you're talking about ruling the world, ruling these things. So what was involved in that? They had of taking and ruling that place. So there was an advancement thought strategical process involved in doing that. So hence यहाँ पे भी जो है कुछ लोग जो है वो सोचते हैं कि भाई हम इस दीन और दुनिया के एतबार से अलग करते नहीं. It is something that you have to be robust, you have to evolve, and you have to strategize your life to get there. We are living in a world which has been created by others, but in fact, पहले के ज़माने में ये होता था कि they used to people they used to create the world for the generations to come. They used to think that way कि भाई आगे की generations क्या करेंगे. So that's what we need to look into, and with the technologies. I'm not just talking about AI. Any technology, we have to get upskilled. We have to know what's happening in the world. The what I'm most concerned is technology. The most concerned and most valuable thing is the desire. एक बड़े बहुत बड़े आलिम वो जब मदरसे की जुलूस में गए थे तो उन्होंने एक सवाल किया था कि इल्म की इब्तिदा क्या है और इल्म का इंतहा क्या है. What is the beginning of the knowledge and what is the end of the knowledge? Many answers came, and just cutting it short and moving on quickly. So come with the topic here also to touch a little bit on the topic. Of course, we'll not be able to do justice on the topic. So they told that that at the end of the day, it was told that ilm ki ibtida जो है वो तलब से है. तलब, desire. The desire should be there. If the desire is not there, you will not learn. If the desire is dead, everything is dead. And khatam kab hai jab when you feel that oh I know, मुझे मालूम है तो खत्म. इसके बाद you will not learn, you will not progress. So he'll keep the hand in the hand. So hence, the first thing is the desire, just to say, the Josh. When the Josh, you know what? When if you want to compare that Josh, you compare that with a match, with a game, irrespective whether it's an online game or a cricket. पूरी उसमें passion कैसा रहता है? What is the passion level in a game? अब even जो games online game भी लोग खेलते हैं, क्या passion level रहता है? कितना dynamic रहता है वो बंदा? No, I'm not. No, again, ये नहीं है कि I'm not telling you to get on to the online game. Either way, I'm not doing it. But I'm talking about the passion involved in it. The passion involved in that when you talk about the game, when you're into the game, whatever game it is, you are all in it. You're all in it. पूरा जिस के साथ अपना पूरा लगा देते हैं वहाँ. Just to make sure that you win, you get to the next level. That is what is missing in this community. When I say this community, Muslim community. But I visited this place, OSS High School. Long time back, OSS High School में वहाँ की technical director मुझे बोला कि भाई आपके बच्चों को बोलो, because what's happening is बच्चे जो है वो कहते हैं दुनिया पढ़ो पढ़ने के लिए बोलेंगे तो वो कहेंगे कि भाई मुकद्दर के बाद मुकद्दर से मिल जाएगा. I don't have to think about it too much. This is who the kids. We shouldn't be looking at that. What we should be rather looking at is how the other communities are progressing and how the other communities are able to not elevate themselves to positions, but being in those positions, how they are able to help their own communities. Help their own communities. समझ में आ रही बात? इसकी ग्रेविटी को समझ में आता है. आज पता क्या हो रहा है कंपनीज में, hope it's not getting recorded. Companies में आज जो है, people are, huh? That's fine. So people are now in the positions where now they are bringing their own community people and leaving out the rest. The rest. Oh yeah, this is happening. This is happening. Why? Because we are not. How can I be there? How can I be there? How can I be fair? How can I show that what is fair? This is what still have that specifically have that passion to be there. Passion to be there, to be at the top of getting that something. Uske liye you need to, not just walk, you need to run with the technology. आज के दौर में the technology जितनी fast progress हो रही है, जितनी fast जा रही है, it really requires us to sprint run to catch up with that. That's what it is. So AI is a technology which is getting into many different aspects. AI is like, what is AI itself? It's not, automation has been there, right? In automation, तो पहले से भी रहा है and all those things. So automation, जैसे कि I'll give you one example. आप छोटा सा automation का example. यहाँ पे टैंक है, वाटर टैंक से पानी ऊपर जाता है. कितने लोगों के पास जो है वो सेंसर बेस्ड ऑटोमेशन, वो ऑटोमेटेड वो है कि जो है जैसे वाटर के नीचे ऊपर के टैंक में जो है पानी कम होता है तो ऑटोमेटिक वाटर ऑन होता है. Can I call that? Yeah, water level controller, right? Sensor based. Can I call that as AI? Can I call that as AI?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. There is automation. There is automation. Yes, it is automation. It is automation. So automation has been there. Automation has been there. Now what is AI in it? Now, how do I bring AI in it? It is like making it much more smarter, much more smarter. It is not about just looking at activating certain things. And it is about there's no intervention. Of course, there's automation definitely to it, but just not at the level of one small thing, but at a larger level where the missions are taking decisions. Not just that. Artificial learning में सबसे अहम चीज क्या है तो it learns on its mistakes. It learns its mistakes. Initially, when AI was built, and there was this, the AI had a game against the Watson system, which played the chess game killer. The chess game with the master, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, grandmaster के साथ. So it started learning. Initially it was failing, it was losing, right? It lost. Then after some time, it learned. What did it learn? It learned the patterns of the grandmaster, how the moves are, and it learned and upgraded what should be my move. मेरी गलती क्या किया था, मैंने पहले क्या गलती किया था जिसकी वजह से मैं हारा, and how I have to avoid that. So that is what is the AI. AI में क्या होता है? There is machine learning involved. There is deep learning involved. So इसमें क्या होता है? The systems, they learn from the mistakes and then evolve. Evolve होता है, and then they correct themselves and then they make decisions. So यहाँ पे जब decisions when they start taking these decisions, this is where the challenge is. Now this is where the challenge comes. अब यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Yeah. This one we already covered. Use this. So this kind of learning, this kind of the AI is being used in now every technology. They are using it in every technology. Healthcare, transportation, ADAS. How many people know about ADAS? Huh? Like automated driving. It is we used to think that it's something futuristic. हम सोचते थे भाई वो just like fictional ऐसा सोचते थे. But आज San Francisco चले जाओ कहीं पे, there are many cities wherein just like Uber book कर रहे गाड़ी आ रही है लेकिन there's no driver in it. There's no driver in it. आप बस बैठो अब चलते जाओ. वो ले जाके अपना गाड़ी छोड़ देगा. So this is the level that the automation has come. The whole and it evolves there. It understands. It understands what are the different abstractions. It looks at the abstractions and takes a different decision, and it takes a different. It's learning right there, learning and implementing it. So that's the automation, and that's the AI that is in the automobile industry. Automobile industry. See, every industry is in it. So these are very, very dynamic programs. Very dynamic. They are like they can learn and they can adapt. Hence that's what makes the AI such useful, right? So we just heard how the AI systems are treating the humans in many ways. Everybody understands it. So especially if you are into development and CS they know. How many of you are still coding hands-on? कोई कर रहा है कोड? अभी क्या कर रहे हो? क्या यूज कर रहे हो? क्लाउड यूज कर रहे हो? And क्लाउड आपने you put the use case, क्या होगा? कोड जनरेट हो गया. this उसको जरा देख लिया, right? So hence आपकी क्या जरूरत है in the industry when this is, तो आपका क्या काम? You are just there to feed like a postman. आपका काम वही है. So you have to think what is it that's gonna how is my job gonna evolve on this scenario. So this is when you need to think and see where you are heading towards. आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं, किस तरफ, तो हमारी क्या जरूरत हो सकती है. Where should I evolve and what should be my upgrade, my upskilling, and where should I focus on. That is what we need to look into. In typical AI system, this is what it is. In a typical AI system, the core is the algorithm. Algorithm is the core where algorithm matlab, it's a program. It's just a program. Typical it could be mathematics. It's a lot of mathematics there. A lot of mathematics there. And on top of it, then there is a whole learning layer. There's a lot of learning that happens, and then the application layer. That's a very brief thing. How does it work? It starts recognizing. अब जैसे कैसे सीखता कैसे है? हम बच्चों को क्या सिखाते हैं? छोटे बच्चों की किताबें देखी हमने, क्या है उसमें? Pictures, right? It shows you see all these pictures. अब एक कुत्ता है, कुत्ते के जो है फोटो दिखाते रहते, कुत्ता है. Then the kid, when they see the dog outside, the kid is going to say dog. Similarly, उसके voice भी बोलते हैं, कुत्ता क्या कहता है? भू कहता है, whatever. So जैसे वो देखते हैं तो बच्चे जो है they repeat. They did not learn through the DOG dog है, ये ऐसा है, वो ऐसा है. No, there's a series of patterns, series of pictures, series of information that is being fed. अगर एक बच्चे को एक dog, only one particular type of dog दिखाया जाए, so and suddenly you bring a completely different animal, a different breed, the kid is not going to be able to identify and understand, this is a dog. The kid might get confused. Right? So you say there is a lot of learning, it depends upon how much learning, how much data and what data is being fed into it. So इसमें क्या होता है? जब data डालते हैं, there is also some kind of a labeling that happens to the data. That is called as the data annotation. Data annotation होता है. Basically, somebody has to tell, right? This is a dog. A dog का है. Some kind of a thing. So that is what then इसको जब ये data को जब feed करके train करते, then it starts understanding and recognizing whatever. Similar things, that this is what happens to everything. आपका generative AI है ना, LLMs वगैरह जो भी है. At a larger level, this happens at a larger level, wherein इसीलिए जो है LLM कहते हैं उसको. LLM is large language model. It's a large, huge language model. There's a lot of data fed into it. वो बनाने के लिए, that's where it takes a lot of energy consumption ज़्यादा होता है. So, but that's typically how the system works, right? So AI definitely it has potential to do good, but it also has a potential to do bad. So there are so many different examples, so many different, and I'm sure that you relate to certain things. कि भाई क्या हो रहा है? Britain, UK में they brought in the grading system during the Corona time. जब बच्चे स्कूल में आ रहे थे, तो what they did was they to use the previous data. That's typical AI. AI में क्या करते हैं? Previous data लेके they forecast what's going to happen. पिछले का लेके वो देख के एनालाइज करके they forecast what's going to happen. That's a typical AI application. इसी तरह जो है वो they forecast on the sales, sales कैसा रहेगा, forecast आपका sales forecast क्या रहेगा, कब depending upon your previous data. 5 साल का डेटा लेते हैं, देख के बोलते हैं कि अच्छा आपका जो है सेल जो है नवंबर दिसंबर में ज्यादा होता है. And then there are some calculations you make, and then you say that in 2026 your sale forecast will be something like this. So same thing what they did was पिछले जो students थे, समझो 8th 9th में जो मार्क्स लेके आए थे, उसको लेके उन्होंने बोला 10th में ये ऐसा इतना आएगा, based upon this thing. Is that correct? So अब उसमें क्या होता है? Why is it not correct? Because it is human, and human evolve. अब 8th and 9th में उन्हें पढ़ा नहीं, whatever reason, हो सकता है उसको कुछ बीमारी थी होगी, हो सकता है they just had moved, it was a new environment for them. I think there are many different things that हो सकता है घर में जो है वो some issues, some कुछ लड़ाई हो रही होगी, so the mentally the child is not stable. but that, it doesn't have to be the same for the next year. या उस वक्त पे जो है उसने उसको सीरियसनेस नहीं आया, लेट ऑन जो है ऐसे मजलिस में कोई बैठा जो है बैठ के जो है उसको बोला नहीं नहीं आई हैव टू डू दिस नाउ नेक्स्ट नो आई हैव टू डू दिस करके उसने ठान ली, and then he'll grow. So all that is curbed with doing this, and hence and when this happens क्या होता है, who is affected? The people, the students, they got affected. जिंदगी किसकी खराब हुई, किसकी वजह से? सिस्टम की वजह से, एक सिस्टम की. Many such examples can be given where and when this happens, algorithmic biases होते हैं. Algorithmic biases मतलब बहुत सारे लोग जो है they submit their resumes to the companies, and अगर उस कंपनी में जो impacts, जो हम जो करते हैं उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होता है, हमारा इम्पैक्ट, हमारे हमारे अमाल का इम्पैक्ट क्या होता है। यू नो दिस सेशन हम जो है ना थोड़ा मैं हाइब्रिड मोड में लेके जाता हूँ, यू नो आई विल बिकॉज हमारा इंटेंशन इज ए लॉन्ग रन, आखिरत के एतबार से लेके चलना है। एक किताब है हुज्जतुल्लाह बालिगा, किसी ने सुना है इसका नाम? हुज्जतुल्लाह बालिगा, anybody has heard about this name? I mean इस किताब का नाम तो आप और सुना है, आपने पढ़ा होगा जी। तो एक सेकंड, इट्स कमिंग अप, स्टिल नॉट शोइंग, द शेयर करने के लिए दिखा नहीं रहा है मुझे स्क्रीन। So the thing is, you know, it talks about how अमाल का इम्पैक्ट क्या होता है, अमाल का इम्पैक्ट क्या होता है। अमाल मतलब हमारे जो कोडिंग है, कोडिंग इज एन अमल, हमारा जो काम हम जो करते हैं, हम जो काम करते हैं, that has an impact on certain things. You know, there is an impact on, you know, how other people's life, right? So इसकी तरह जो है वो कोई ज़कात नहीं देता तो उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या होता है। कोई जो है कुछ अब कोई बस कंडक्टर है, अब कंडक्टर है when he's taking जब टिकट्स विंडो पे करें, चलो इंटरेस्टिंग कर देता हूँ। Okay. All right. So, अब आ रहा है क्या भाई? शारिक anyway, let's when we school technology, I'll share the presentations later. Let's because इसकी वजह से जो है we are losing time and losing interest here. Okay, let's forget about this. At least जो है यहाँ पे देखने वाले तो देख लो, online का जो है we'll have a look into that later. So there is an impact of our amal, हमारा जो काम है ना, हम काम जो करते हैं उसका impact होता है। एक किसी ने पूछा कि भाई अब हलाल कोई जो है वो अच्छी कंपनी में है तो ये मेरा हलाल है या हराम है। इसी तरह हमें कैन इवन टेक इट टू द लेवल ऑफ अगर कोई इमामत कर रहा है, मिसाल के तौर पर, अल्लाह माफ करे भाई मौलाना, अगर कोई इमामत भी कर रहा है, हलाल जस्ट इमामत करने से नहीं हो जाता, उसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होती है, वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को पूरा करना होता है। अब वो जिम्मेदारी है, उस जिम्मेदारी को निभाना होता है। अब वो जिम्मेदारी क्या है, उनकी जिम्मेदारी ये है कि भाई उनकी नमाज जो है ऐसी हो जिससे जो है तमाम की नमाज पूरी हो जाए, कबूल हो जाए। इमाम की नमाज के बुनियाद पे जो है तमाम की बच्चों की जो है नमाज कबूल होती है। अगर यहाँ की जो है वो जिम्मेदारी नहीं हुई तो इसलिए जो है वो डरते हैं, लोग जो है इमाम बनने के लिए डरते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि भाई बड़ी जिम्मेदारी का काम है, बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी का काम है। तो अगर 5 वक्त की नमाज का तय किया गया है, हजरत जो है वो नहीं आ रहे, तो क्या is he fulfilling his responsibility? Is he full? तो हलाल क्या है, मेरा हलाल है। So this is how we should look into, this is बहुत बड़ी बात है ये, लेकिन but we should look into our roles. When we play our roles, how does it affect? How does it, as a student, as a student or as an employee, what is it? So when it comes to AI, development of AI, we have to look into whether my code is explainable. But that means if my system is taking a decision, then there should be an explanation of why, on what basis it has taken the decision. I'll tell you some examples how it has been implemented at this point. There's some kind of implementation. When you use the Gen AI now, earlier when you used to use the Gen AI, this was not there. Then when people started talking about it, then they started introducing this aspect of explainability. It now gives the reference of where it took the information and gives you the links of where all the information is there. This never used to be there when initially ChatGPT came in. कहीं से भी लेके आया था, कहाँ से लेके आया था, translate there was no reference. So it's either some action has been taken, that action, why that action was taken, it was not no reference to it. So it's like a thing that is the explanation. Within here, there are so many different things that are there that we don't look into. Responsible, how what is decisions there, putting all these different aspects into it and making it more responsible, and bringing the ethical values into the systems. Ethical values kya hai? As a human, मेरे values हैं. There's some belief. Belief is like value, right? Like you believe करता हूँ value. So इसको जो है, ethics is human to human. मैं जो करता हूँ, मैं ये काम करता हूँ, ट्रस्ट है, मैं सच्चाई है, झूठ बोलना, सच बोलना, इस तरह की चीजें जो ह्यूमन टू ह्यूमन. ये ethics in here क्या है? Bringing those values into the system. Why is it required? क्यों जरूरत है उसकी? क्यों जरूरत है? क्योंकि nations are taking the decisions. Nations are taking the decisions. Hence, we need to create the systems which can understand the ethical values. So hence, there is a whole process of how do you bring these ethical values into the system, integrate these values into the system. This period we need to get into right from requirements gathering. How many of you are from the CS background here? Like CS majority. Those
responsible ethics.
Go to the ethics. So, SDLC समझते हो? Software development life cycle. उसमें क्या? What is the first thing that you do? Requirements gathering. For those who are non-CS, अब एक चीज बनाना है, भाई forget about computers. बिरयानी बनाना है. मैं बोलूँ तो मैं आपको बोलूँ कि भाई बिरयानी बना दो. आप जबरदस्त शेफ होंगे. आप क्या पूछ रही हो? कितने लोग? कौन सी बिरयानी बनाओगे? कितने लोगों के लिए? कब बनाना है? आपका स्पाइस लेवल क्या चाहिए? चिकन की बिरयानी चाहिए, बीफ बिरयानी चाहिए, whatever. Hyderabad biryani चाहिए. These are all the requirements. पहले क्या पूछते हैं? Oh, पहले बिरयानी बनाना, चलो मैं बना देता हूँ. ऐसा करते क्या करूँ? So that is what happens in the software also. Software जब बनाने के पहले जो है अगला नाम बना एक छोटा सा application you go into what you call web page बनाना, छोटा सा web page बनाना. तो भी पूछ लेना क्या करना है, क्या what is you want, what kind of color you want, what kind of fonts you want, what kind all the different things. तो वहाँ पे user the requirements देते हैं. There you need to get the values by उसके लिए हमें समझना चाहिए कि फिर values क्या है. Values when values को हम समझेंगे उसको हम we have to get those values into our system, into the requirements gathering. There's a उसको पूरा process के through ये करेंगे, then that's when those values can be designed, those values can be developed. जब हम system use करेंगे तब वो values होंगे. अब ये human values में ना certain things are not there. I'm going to talk about the so ये नहीं रहेगा.
Not related.
नहीं related है. Content इसमें यही बात कर रहा था, इसी पे बात कर रहा था. So when we talk about like ethical values, right? Ethical values can be looked into what is it that maximum benefit कितना है और harm कितना, what maximizes the benefit and what reduces the harm. There is another way of looking at it is of what will this मैं इसे implement करने से what is the impact of this particular the feature that I am introducing. इसमें I'll give you an example. Like इसके बाद डालने से what is going to happen. Recently, Facebook was sued for what? इसको मालूम है?
डेटा क्लिप
हाँ
करें
नहीं हाँ addiction technology क्यों this is something that so this is called as the virtue ethics. Now what does it mean? It makes the person addictive. आपका जो टेक्नोलॉजी आपका वैल्यू जो है तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि इसमें making the student and forward the users addictive जिसकी वजह से वो शुरू किया गया because now क्या हो रहा है especially the children are getting addicted to these things scroll करते चले जा रहे हैं तो इसकी वजह से जो है उनको शुरू किया गया आपकी टेक्नोलॉजी जो आपने डेवलप की है इट इज अनएथिकल बिकॉज आपका वर्चुअल इसका रिजल्ट क्या हो रहा है एडिक्शन हो रहा है and it is impacting the lives of the people, the lives of the children, the career of the children, the career growth ये हो रहा है. See how a technology implemented is impacting the people. That value was not there, or that value was not looked into. Addiction का जो value उसको नहीं देखा गया था. In fact, that value was used in a different way.